Bola Tinubu today explains his choice of Shettima as his running mate. He says victory was her primary focus, and his choice. We dissect the choice and what lies ahead of the ruling APC. And Senator Adeleke today won at the appeal court in Akure after scare of a devastating lawsuit to his victory. And INEC also gave him and his running mate certificates of return. It's about 2 minutes after 7 p.m. here in Abuja, the nation's capital. Welcome to the program, everyone. This is Politics Today. I'm Sean Wakimbale. Let's begin. First and foremost, we're not taking our eyes off what has become a national embarrassment in the issue of the ASU strike. We continue our countdown over the strike action by the university lecturers. It's now 156 days since university lecturers in federal university in the country began their strike action, keeping students away from the classroom. The standoff between the federal government and the university lecturers continue, and the students continue to be idle. As I say, the idle hand is a devil's workshop. You know what this means for the nation. The president yesterday has given a 2 weeks ultimatum to the Ministry of Education to ensure the standoff is resolved. Nigerians are now looking forward to the stakeholders getting their acts together to resolve what has become a national embarrassment. We begin tonight by letting you know that the governor-elect of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, was today presented with a certificate of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. He received the certificate of return alongside his deputy, the deputy governorship candidate of the PDP, Prince Kola Adewuse, who also received his other ceremony. His presentation comes almost 72 hours after defeating the incumbent governor Adegboyega Oyetola of the APC with 403,371 votes to defeat the incumbent who garnered 375,027 votes on Saturday. Adeleke's certificate of return was presented by the INEC National Commissioner supervising Osun, Ogun, and Oyo State, Professor Kunle Ajayi.
This victory would not have been possible but for the goodwill of the patriotic men, young and old, who work hard to make sure we reclaim our stolen mandate. I am overwhelmed by your love and support, and I do not take this trust you have bestowed on me for granted. Our state has now turned to a new page.
Osun State gubernatorial election has come and gone, but I need to reiterate this point, that our democracy will be stronger if we come together to do the right things at the right time and for the people who are actually the beneficiaries of the democracy.
And there was some kind of jubilation on the streets of Osun State today following the victory of Senator Ademola Adeleke, this time not at the polling unit but in the courtroom. The Court of Appeal in Akure, Ondo State, dismissed a suit filed by Mr. Dotun Babayemi, a governorship aspirant of the PDP, against Ademola Adeleke. Babayemi had taken Adeleke before a federal high court in Osogbo, seeking to be declared as a PDP candidate for the July 16 governorship election in Osun State. Two factions of the party had on the 8th of March 2021 conducted separate governorship primaries featuring Adeleke and Babayemi. Babayemi was declared the winner of the primary election held at the Children and Women Development Center in Osogbo, while the primary election held at Osogbo City Stadium and backed by the PDP National Working Committee produced Ademola Adeleke. The Court of Appeal, in its judgment today, upheld the verdict of the High Court and consequently dismissed Babayemi's appeal. Tonight, we'll be hearing Bola Tinubu on his decision and his choice of Senator Kashim Shettima. He said victory was his primary target, or the reasons behind picking Senator Shettima. Now, there are a lot of implications to Tinubu's decision, well, some of which we'll be looking at tonight. But before we get into that, there is another matter which will be of concern to members of the APC. Now, they lost election in Osun State. That looks like a devastating blow to the party. Now, a chieftain of the party, who is a very strong supporter of Bola Tinubu in Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, has dumped the APC. There are a lot of issues happening in the Rivers State. We get to hear from him the reasons why he left and whether or not he has not resolved his differences between Rotimi Amechi and the reasons why he couldn't get a ticket and perhaps why he's moved to other parties. But before we get into all of these issues, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The federal government has declared illegal the planned protest by the Nigeria Labour Congress in solidarity with the striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this to State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari today in Abuja. Mr. Mohammed says the NLC is in no dispute with the federal government and as such considered its planned street protest illegal.
NLC is supposed to be completely insulated from politics. Now, if you declare dispute with us, yes, we can go on strike. Even that one will depend on whether certain steps have been taken or not.
A group known as Tinubu Youth Organization has met in Kano, bringing in different communities of young people together at their office for the purpose of sensitization on getting their permanent voters card ahead of the forthcoming general elections. The move is also to celebrate the emergence of their presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima.
We feel there's need in the north to celebrate our leader, our principal, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, is seeking the support of the traditional institution to address insecurity in the state. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Tokunbo Talabi, at the third quarters of the statutory meeting of the State Council of Obas held in Abeokuta, the state capital, the governor affirmed his administration's commitment towards ensuring a secure environment for businesses. He is also calling on parents to prevail on their wards to desist from any act of criminality.
Rather than turn this into a political issue, notice is then issued to all concerned that such unruly and illegal behavior will not be tolerated.
And the lawmaker representing Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District in the Senate, Senator Basi Akpan, today dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Akpan was elected under the PDP platform in 2019, 3 years after he was a frontline PDP governorship aspirant in Akwa Ibom, but lost to Umo Eno, former Commissioner for Lands and Water Resources in the state on the 25th of May 2022. Having failed to clinch the PDP governorship ticket, he defected to the Young Progressives Party in his bid to succeed the outgoing governor Udom Emmanuel in 2023. His decision to defect to the YPP was contained in a letter addressed to the Senate and read by the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, during legislative proceedings today.
There you have it. You're now up to date with your political roundup stories. So let's begin our first round of conversation. And it's about perhaps your biggest political story in the land today. So in Abuja, Senator Kashim Shettima was officially presented by the All Progressives Congress APC to the world alongside the presidential candidate Bola Tinubu. as the party's vice presidential candidate for the 2023 presidential election. The party had postponed the event, which was planned to hold last week. But today at the Shehu Yaradua Center in Abuja, the party's presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, APC National Chairman Abdullah Adamu, and other chieftains graced the event. The party National Chairman Abdullah Adamu described the APC vice presidential candidate as a detribalized Nigerian who has carried everyone along irrespective of their ethnic and political differences. While Bola Tinubu, the party's flag bearer, tries to justify his choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as his running mate. Take a listen to some of the soundbite at that event.
Every election brings with the promise of renewed hope. This one shall be no different for our party and for our nation. We hold the chance to move the nation and our collective cause forward as never before. To do this, we must be wise in our thoughts and courageous in our actions. We must win this election so that we can bring jobs, eliminate poverty, educate our children, bring up our grandchildren without thinking of religious division nor ethnic differences.
Your Excellencies, we need to lay to rest issues of religion, region, and ethnicity. I don't intend to be the vice president to represent members of the Islamic faith. No. The Sultan of Sokoto is capable of doing that. I do not seek to be the vice president to protect the interests of the Hausa Fulani Kanuri triangle. No. I believe in the Nigeria project. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes in the Nigeria project. And I swear in the name of God that I never supported the Ashwaju project to be his running mate. I supported the Ashwaju project because of moral compunction. We need to build a new nation. The trajectory of global growth is facing Africa, and Nigeria will make or mar that transition.
Passionate words from the APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima, a former governor of Borno State. Meanwhile, Senator Kashim Shettima, alongside his successor in Borno State, Professor Babangana Zulum, visited the president at a presidential villa. President Buhari is confident that his party's candidate will win the 2023 presidential election, while giving some praises to Senator Shettima's loyalty to the party.
We are essentially one people with a common destiny. A new leader is going to emerge in the United Kingdom today. Of the 4 top leading candidates, Rishi Sunak is probably a Hindu from Gujarati in India. Kemi Baden-Bok is of Nigerian descent. Nobody is talking about the ethnicity or the religion of the candidate, but rather their capacities, their policy framework, and their capacities for deliverance. This is not a new thing in this part of the world. This is a reenactment of an event that happened 30 years ago, the MKO Kingibe ticket. I'm from the part of the country where we hail from. There are no divisions on the basis of ethnicity or religion.
Yet again, the vice presidential candidate spoke after the meeting with President Buhari. But it doesn't look like the decision of Bola Tinubu or the APC is going down well with some members of the APC. Internally, there are those who are already opposing the pair. An APC group called the House of Fulani Youth Forum says, in light of the prevailing circumstances arising from the decision of the presidential candidate to select another Muslim as his vice presidential candidate, that they find it worrisome that such a decision could be taken without recourse to its implication on the electoral chances of the party and the attendant uproar such a decision could bring about in the country. The group took to the street and they say it is also worrisome that of all the country's political parties, only the APC has presented a Muslim ticket. The group says this is insensitive and a gross display of a lack of respect for their Christian brothers and sisters, especially the middle belt minority who have given all their best to the party as one northern Nigeria. Well, interesting. Well, it is not only this group that has spoken up about this matter. Several other people, Nigerians, have spoken about this matter. Let's get some perspectives on the ongoings in the APC and what this means for the nation. I'm being joined tonight by the governor of Nasarawa State, of course, and a leader of the APC, Governor Abdullahi Sule. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
For those, maybe we should begin from the grievance of would one say Nasarawa is a minority northern state? Well, that depends on where you're looking at it from. But for those of this kind of group who believe that the decision of Bola Tinubu and the party to pick Senator Shettima is worrisome and might be injurious to the political fortune of the party ahead of 2023, how do you see that? How do you react to such?
Thank you very much, Sheon. I think you are going to have a lot of this. We have almost 6, 7, 8 months to go for the elections. And I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to be having a lot of these discussions, over and over. It is normal when such decisions are taken. And it didn't matter, whichever decision. It doesn't matter whichever decision the party and our presidential candidate have taken. You will still find exactly what you are seeing today. If he had taken a Christian, some other people, maybe from the deep north, will have come forward, rather than the middle belt to say that, no, we don't agree with it. We are the ones who hold the party. We are the ones who do this. So it doesn't matter whichever way. That's why I strongly believe that no matter what happens, one day, I pray, you will have Bola Tinubu sitting right here so that you can ask him some of these and he will tell you. But I think today, sitting down there when they were discussing about the reasons for picking this gentleman to be his running mate, I learned so much of the reasons behind some of the things he mentioned. I know during the introduction you mentioned that his main reason is to win election, but I think it goes beyond that. I think it also goes into the issues of understanding one another. Who do you feel comfortable to work with? Who shares your vision? Who understands you? Who shares the vision of this party from the beginning? It was today I learned that in 2011, when alliances were about to be formed, when people came together from the ANPP, from the ACN, and from the CPC, along with ABGA, came together and sat down at Fashola's house in Lagos in 2013. It was the same Shettima that came out actually to present, the decision of those political parties to form an alliance that has today turned out to be APC. So he was a foundation member. He's somebody that Bola Tinubu had known for a very, very long time. He's somebody that Asuwaju respects so much. He's somebody that the party understands and he understands them. And he mentioned a few things about him. He said, one, he believes in being bold, so is Shettima. Shettima is also somebody who is bold, who is not afraid, who was out there, with the Boko Haram at the middle of these issues. So somebody who believes in the economy, somebody who was a one-time banker, so he presented all these factors that made it possible for him, to select this gentleman. So at the end of the day, he was able to convince the party and convince most of us that that is the right candidate. And we're really convinced. But a lot of work needs to be done, because yet there are a lot of people that are not going to feel comfortable, that are going to say this. But what I found even amazing today, I saw a group of reverend fathers, pastors and the rest of that, over 30 of them, that have come forward at the event, in fact, to show their support, for this gentleman because of what he has done for them, when he was the governor, when he was the banker, and when he was everything that was there. So that's why I say you will have some that will support, some that will not support, and it is not according to the religious lines, because if you will have all these men of God, leaders in their churches that have come forward to say that we are 100% in support of this, then it has gone beyond religious lines.
I guess there is perhaps some kind of suspicion and lack of trust that has lingered up to this moment. Perhaps the reason why, especially in your party, and perhaps the perception of your party to some Nigerians and in some sections of the country. And if you look at it, I hate to put out this fact, but it is true that your the presidential candidate of your party is a Muslim. The vice presidential candidate of your party is a Muslim. The national chairman of your party is a Muslim. Presently, the leader of your party, who is the sitting president, is a Muslim. The Senate president is a Muslim. The Speaker of the House of Representatives is a Muslim. In fact, his deputy is a Muslim. Majority of the service chiefs are Muslims. In some times in this country in the past, these issues will not mean anything. But this suspicion and this lack of trust, or this distrust in your party and the leaders, and then perhaps the tonality of the way your party presents things and the body language of your party to things is making people feel uncomfortable. How can your party be able to convince Nigerians? Because this is no longer an APC or Bola Tinubu idea. It is what Nigerians are passionate about, and the unity of this country has for a long time been called to a question for the first time. So those who are questioning that decision, I'm very sure that they have some very good reason, isn't it?
Those who are questioning that have forgotten the history of this nation. At this nation, this is not the first time in this nation that we have had a Muslim, and we have had a president and his number two of the same faith. All people need to do is to go back and look at the history of Nigeria. This is not the first time also that we have had elections where somebody from the southwest has not picked somebody from the northeast, both of them the same faith. As a matter of fact, they won their elections. This is not the first time today in this country. If you look at the number of governors that we have and the number of deputy governors that we have almost 64%, if you put governors and deputy governors, who are Christians, and then the remaining are Muslims. So over 60% of our governors and deputy governors are actually Muslims, actually Christians. And it is the balance of these 40% that are Muslims. If you look at like right now in the whole South, the whole southern part of the country, you have 17 governors. Only one of those governors is a Muslim. Nobody is complaining about that. So it is not a situation that you have had. Look at all the southern governors of PDP. Not one of them is a Muslim.
But those who will say that in the north, I've had a guest on the program who said in the north, there's just about one or two ministers who are Christians from the north in the present cabinet.
No, that's what I'm telling you.
These are the question mark people are raising.
No, it depends on the kind of
on a normal
people.
day, this might not be an issue at all. Nigerians are so fantastic people.
And it should not be
when
an
these
issue.
kind of issues come up, is it the right time for your party to think about the intensity of the vision that we see in the country?
I think it's the right time
and the sensitivity
it's the right time for the party to think of how can I win election.
Not about the unity of the country.
No, the unity of the country is inclusive. Winning election and ensuring that, well, if you just go in as a party and say, let us go ahead and lose election for the unity of the country, you are not a political party.
No, but you don't wonder that you want to win election at the detriment of the unity of the country?
No. None of them depends on the other. As a matter of fact, it is when you win the election that you can make a decision. So the question of unity of the country is continuous. No political party will believe in the disunity of this country. Every political party
the
believes
PDP
in
has
the
accused your party that whatever tension that we have in the country today, your party is responsible to have played that up and to have caused the nation has been disunited at this point. So far, I mean, the question would be, do you want to step on the disunity of the country and the sensibility and the sensitivities of the people of this country just because you want to win elections?
The problems we are having today are not as a result of religion. The problems of security in this country are not as a result of religion.
But there are a lot
the problems
of
unemployment, the problems of inflation, the
Christian
problems
leaders
that we're having.
who are being killed in Kaduna, who are being killed in northwest region of the country. There are perceptions about annihilation and humiliation of the Christian faith in the country. So the question is it the right time for the ruling party?
The ones in Maiduguri, and the ones in Katsina, and the ones in Sokoto, and the ones in Zamfara, and the ones in Niger, are all also because of annihilation of the Christians or the Muslims? I think we better, that's why I love what they said today, you know, during the presentation, that let us look at the unity of the country, let us look at the future of the country, let us look at the economy of this nation, let us look at education, unemployment, and the rest of that, because these are the issues to face. If we go minor issues, you know, you are trying to say, oh, this one is a Muslim, this one is a Christian, this one is that, I think we will miss the point. Today we have Nigerians in the UK seeking for office. Nobody is asking about their religion. Today we have Nigerians actually occupying offices, political offices in the US. Nobody asks them of where they come from.
That's not their problem.
Exactly.
The issue of religion and identity is a problem here.
No, it's a problem
touches on the unity of this country.
No,
every society has its own sensitivities.
It's a problem to a certain group of people. You know, there are a certain group of people who want to make it a problem, so it's a problem to them. As I said, you have all these clergymen that came in today, religious leaders, you know, who understand the Bible, who understand the politics of this nation, who understand the situation of this nation. They jump back and they were at the event.
Did you hear what people were saying about them? In fact, they are saying that some of them are hired.
Well, if they were hired, we didn't see that. Then maybe the same people who were on the streets today were hired. You know, it's the same thing. Because in this country, look at the caliber, can you compare the caliber of the people who were on street with the caliber of people who have just entered that event to be there?
I would like us to discuss something that is a bit more different from the issue, but before we get out of it, I'd like to ask that, don't you think that it's sort of strange that out of all the political parties, it's only your party that's toed that line of a Muslim ticket?
It is only the party that has the guts to actually look at the right direction and take it. We are not going to be a party that is just going to look around and then go with the flow of what it is. We have to look at the sensitivity of this nation. We have to look at what is right for this country. We have to look at the economy of the country. We have to look at how do we solve the issues of this country. And our presidential candidate believes he is somebody who is tested. Today, the economy of Lagos is the best economy in the entire country. He did it during his time, you know, and he said, I want to repeat it right now for the nation. So how did I do that? I brought competencies. I didn't care where they came from. I brought people from Igbos. I brought some Hausa people. That's how we built the economy of Lagos. We didn't care what the religion was.
You know what happened in America?
What happened?
The President Biden, Brody James, brought for the first time a woman of color as a vice president.
Correct.
To United Nations.
Correct.
I mean, for the first time in the cabinet. Yes. The president of America brought a lot of mixture of people of different faiths and beliefs into that to unite, because the nation, that country, was largely divided after Trump's exit as the president of the United States.
No, but you see,
now you wonder that in Nigeria, is your party damning the consequences?
No,
Your Excellency, take a listen to what a very strong member of your party, a former SGF, said about what has happened. He said, we have picked it up this gauntlet. The God of justice and equity through the Nigerian voter will decide the victor between the Nigerian Christian Alhaji Tinubu and his party, the APC. This is our country, and we will not let Alhaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu relegate us, our children, and our religion to second-class status in our own country. For us, this is an existential crisis. Our rise to justice and peaceful coexistence with all practitioners of other religions is under threat. That is Baba Chilawa.
I want you to read also what the Bola Tinubu also campaign organization mentioned, that he was one of those at the committee that actually submitted the names of people who could be vice president. Among those names were also Kashim. You know, so sometimes I think we like to play around with some of these things. As I mentioned, you know, it's an issue that has to be solved. Unfortunately, you know, what you did, you mix apples and oranges and all that. For instance, you started mentioning the leader of the party is a president, candidate is a president. His deputy is president, Senate president is president, this and that. But is that the situation today? You know, the leader of our party today is a Muslim, but his deputy, Osibanjo, is not a Muslim. So you have taken their regime and then you blend it right now into, you know, the other one. I think that's the situation. So if we need to separate them, we need to wait for Bola Tinubu to be elected as president and his vice president happen to be a Muslim. Who is going to be the Senate president? Who is going to be the speaker? Who is going to be, you know, the chairman of the party? Who is going, you know, so we need to do that. But if you take the ones from here and blend them with that, and you have taken people like, you know, Osibanjo right now, our SGF right now, all these other people, you have thrown them out.
No, you're not able to mention more than those two, because the belief is that there's just a sprinkle of them. These are the concerns. This is not me. This is not Sean Wakimaloye speaking.
Yes.
These are the concerns of members of your party. And some Nigerians who are opposed to the decision of the party.
No, you see, the members of the party you are talking about, some of them may even leave the party. You have some people who are dumping the party to go to something else just because it doesn't please them. So in politics such as ours, and in this part of the world, you have people from within. Today I was just watching, you know, here, sitting down here. I saw somebody, you know, who in Akwa Ibom, a sitting senator from Akwa Ibom, who dumped PDP to go to YPP. If you ask him his questions right now, is it because of Muslim ticket? He will tell you no, he has his own reasons. So I think this is what you will continue to say. So politicians have their own ways of saying things. All these people you are mentioning, they are politicians.
All right. You know. Your Excellency, we need to take a break.
Okay.
And I'll get your final thoughts on some of these issues, especially as it concerns 2023 and the welfare of Nigeria, because that's the essence of governance and what politicians are going to do in government. We'll take a break, everyone, and we get the closing thoughts of His Excellency Abdullahi Sule, Governor of Nasarawa State. And afterwards, we get Senator Magnus Abe will be joining me. He dumped the APC and he will be telling us his reasons. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back. Our closing moments now with the Governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. For those who believe that maybe your party has damned the consequence of, let's go to the poll, and that the fear is that, and the warning is, there might be consequence and implication at the poll. Some had even made inference to say your party is already receiving the punishment from the loss of the election in Osun State, that the people are already rejecting your party. How would you react to that?
I think people keep talking about Osun State and they have forgotten actually the past. It's usually with the history. If you remember, it was the courts actually at the end of the day. PDP was declared the winner, you know, in 2011. It was actually the courts, if you remember, that have taken and given this to Ari Goshala when they discovered what had happened. If you check also, it's the same problem that we have had. The gentleman who is there today, it was, in fact, his own case, the Supreme Court that had actually given him the position after they discovered the wrong things that had been done. And while, as a member of the Nigerian Governors Forum, we have congratulated Governor Adeleke, and with all the hope, you know, that he's our governor, and we congratulated him. The party locally had continued to say they are looking at the results and they are likely going to go to court. So I tell you, we shouldn't laugh too early, because there is nothing new that has happened in Osun that has not happened before. So this is the reality of what is happening in Ocean. So, and in Ocean, if you look at it, Ocean is different from, even the people, when we were watching the news, you will hear some other people will say, yes, we didn't vote for Oyetola, but we're for Asiwaju, we're going to vote for Asiwaju. So we remain APC. And those, you were there, I was watching you all the time, and I realized you were talking to some other people. So those are the kinds of news we continue to hear from them. So it is really not maybe against APC. It is similar to your next guess, what is happening in Rivers, that probably happened actually there. It's an internal issue that happened in Ocean that causes the result that we see today. That's the way I look at it.
Do you have a feeling that there is a sort of rebellion in the minds of some Nigerians and thinking that, well, we'll wait so that we can show how angry we are? Some of them who are on the few queues almost every day in Abuja, the nation's capital, just on the noses of the ministers and the government of the day. In Lagos, causing tremendous headache to Nigerians, traffic everywhere, and food prices. The issue of the exchange rate to Naira is about 620-something Naira to $1 in the market right now. And imagine what the average Nigerian is going through, not you and I. Well, perhaps you and the upper class are probably in the lower, of the middle class. So, do you think that Nigerians who are for their party another chance, considering what has happened?
I strongly believe so, because you have to look at, when you are going into an election, you look at the competition, and you look at the situation, and you look at what you have done. So a lot of these people that you are talking about who are saying we are not going to vote for APC because APC has done this and that, they probably had never voted for APC anyway. The real people who have voted for APC, today, are looking at the good things that APC has done. Are you saying all this infrastructural work that has been done is nothing? Are you saying that all the agricultural improvement we have had is nothing? Are you saying that the improvement we have had on security on one area, but we are having another problem of security in another area is nothing? So I think there are a lot of goodness that has also come out of the APC. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, we are facing the challenges. And yes, we are not damning the consequences to say that we have Muslim ticket, so what? We are not saying that. We are saying that we are talking to the people, and it is because of talking to the people that today you have had the people that I'm just hearing from you now that they say they are hired, men of God. That have come in their numbers, and somebody say they are hired them. So in this country, then who is it that you are not going to hire? If you are going to hire, the thugs on the street who are raising flags and saying that, and today, men of God that have entered, to say that with this gentleman, we believe in him, you say they are hired. So this is the kind of situation that you have. So, it is an ongoing story, but believe me, there are so many good things that we have, that we believe we can sell to Nigeria.
On a final note, and perhaps in 30 seconds, Governor, how tough do you think it will be for your party, and how much of a uphill task? Because your party will go to Kaduna to go and campaign. They will probably try to talk to people in Kajuru whose family members have been killed. They'll probably go to Maiduguri, where some of our soldiers are being ambushed. They'll probably go to Benue, where they cannot go to the farm as much as they would like. How much of a tough time do you think it will be for your party?
It's not going
and
to
do you think that Nigerians will be easily convinced?
It's not going
because
to
no
be...
matter what you have done, is how much of it Nigerian can be convinced to vote for your party again?
It's not going to be tougher than in 2015, 2014, when PDP was actually going to Maiduguri when they were bombing them. It's not going to be tougher than when PDP was actually going to Kaduna and Kano. And I can tell you that about Kano, every 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, you have a checkpoint in Kano. When mosques were being bombed in Kano, when Muslims could not go to the mosque until they were checked if they had bombs on them, when it was all over the nation. It's not going to be tougher than that, yet PDP had gone into campaign. So in our own case, yes, we'll go and campaign and say, this is what we are doing, this is what we are doing, this is what we are doing, this is what is happening, and the rest of that. And I think we can do that.
I wish you and your party the very best.
We need it, and we are going to get it.
Good luck or best luck is a very scarce commodity, politically speaking now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Let's switch gears now and speak about the Rivers State political crisis. It's still in the APC. Former Senator who represents the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District and the National Assembly Senator Magnus Ape has stormed the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. The former lawmaker says he has left the party but pledged his continued support to the presidential bid of APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu. Meanwhile, the APC in Rivers State has been reacting to Senator Abe's defection. Take a listen to what the APC in Rivers State is saying.
Recently, they also hired hoodlums and attempted to destroy the present secretariat of the party. Tired of Abe's antics, majority of his supporters openly joined the ruling People's Democratic Party in the state, while others found their way back to the mainstream of the party, that is APC. However, it recently came to our attention that Senator Abe and the few persons still within had concluded plans to join the Social Democratic Party SDP, on whose platform Abe will run for governor. Hence, their persistent hype to the effect that Abe will be on the ballot come 2023. This press conference is essentially to explain to you and the public that Rivers APC considers the formal exit of Abe and his associates from the APC as good riddance. We liken it to a successful excision of a debilitating cancer from the body. Rivers APC can now heave a sigh of relief from the sustained destabilizing onslaught by Senator Abe.
We have live with us Senator Magnus Abe. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sharon.
You abandoned or you jumped ship or you left the house in whom you jointly built with some of your friends in the APC. Why?
Well, Shehu, you know, politics, it's always local. And you will agree with me that for the past how many years, the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has not been able to win any election at all. So at the end of the day, a political party is set up simply for the purposes of contesting for power. And where the party is run in such a way that it is virtually impossible or it becomes difficult for it to be taken seriously in an electoral contest. If you're serious about participating in the political process in the state, then the APC definitely cannot be your vehicle of choice. And for that reason, we had to leave.
When you say we, what do you mean?
Well, when I say we, I mean that it's not just me that is leaving. A lot of other members of the party has also left. And
are there any prominent person that is left with you?
Oh, several. So, Ibim Seminatari left, Dawari George left, a lot of people. Elder Chidi Winyoka. I can mention more than 100 people that have left. And even the man, Obunawuke, who was a former spokesperson of the APC, that was saying the kind of things that Chris Finebone just said now, also left. He left. He's now in the PDP. So Chris Finebone is taking off from there and continuing to issue the statement until he himself will probably also leave, because the party is in no position to win any elections as far as Rivers State is concerned.
Now, what is at the bottom or at the heart of this defection? You can speak for yourself and perhaps for some of those who are your followers. What is at the heart of it? Is it because you could not get a ticket? That's why you decided to leave?
Sure, you recollect. Maybe you don't know my career. I was in the PDP. And when I tried for the Senate the first time, I didn't get the ticket. I didn't leave. I stayed. I supported the candidate of the party, Senator Lee Maiba. I followed him to every local government in my senatorial district and raised his hand and spoke up for him. That's what I did. In 2015, when Dakuku Peter Side was given the ticket of the party, I didn't leave. I stayed, I campaigned with him in every local government. In my senatorial district, I didn't leave. So it's not just about me. It is about the future of our state. It is about the way the party is run in such a way that the interests of other people are not accommodated or is incapable of accommodating the interest of others. A political party is made up of human beings, and human beings are different hopes, different aspirations and all that. The ability of the party to be able to turn all these diverse and divergent interests into one common energy is what will make a political party successful. And that the APC has not been able to do. All we have is name calling. If you say you don't agree, they issue a statement, you're working with Wiki, you're doing this, you're doing that, but that doesn't solve the problem. You recollect also, Sean, that when this problem started, we had a meeting. All of us in the party had a meeting at the old secretariat. The meeting was called by the then chairman of the party, Chief Ibiamo Davis. Everybody attended that meeting except the minister. And at that meeting, we all reached an agreement as to what we would do moving forward with the party, how various interests will be accommodated. As soon as the minister flew in, he scattered everything that all of us, when I say all, I mean every leader of the party. It was the biggest meeting we had ever held. All of us reached and decided that anybody who is associated with Senator Abe or had in any way stated any support for Senator Abe was no longer a member of the party and should be excluded. So how do you walk away from people who have...
Did the minister say, you're referring to Rotimi Amechi?
Yes, he did.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did. It's not just once. He even said it at the meeting at the Dome. And he said he would destroy the party if I continue to try to run for governor. If I don't want to pursue my own aspirations in a political party, what will I be doing there?
Is this issue personal between you and Rotimi Amechi?
I don't think so. I don't have any personal issues.
But this has been lingering for years.
That's why it is now time for us to take it to Rivers people. I'm going to present myself on the ballot and let the people decide it.
I mean, for those who are in your party and asking that, why has it been difficult for Magnus Abe and Rotimi Amechi? I mean, you were a commissioner with him. You ran government with him. You were a senator when he was governor at some point. Now, the question is, why has it been difficult for both men to sit in the same room for the interest of your party? Why has that been difficult?
We had, first of all, Sean, I was a commissioner and Rotimi Amechi was Speaker of the House of Assembly when he was running for governor. And the entire state knows that I gave him 100% support. It got to a point where the Ogoni people, my own people, were the first people to go and see Dr. Odili, the then governor, to offer their support for an Ikwere governorship. And they didn't just go to Dr. Odili with all our chiefs and everybody. They took a full-page advert in support of the Ikwere governorship because of Rotimi Amechi. Now, when he became governor and he ran into a crisis, I gave him full support, 100% support. Every senator that was in the Senate with me knows the extent to which I went to protect his government. So I don't know what the problem is. I'm trying to run for governor. He is not running for governor. So if there is a problem, I really don't know what it is. But what I know is that as far as politics is concerned, the only option that is open to those who do not agree with that style is for us to go to some other political party that will be willing to accommodate us.
So the question I asked, Senator, is why has it been difficult for both of you to sit in the same room and resolve these personal differences?
I don't see it as personal. I see it as political because all I'm pursuing are political objectives.
You want to be governor and he doesn't want you to be. Is that what the case is?
Well, there are questions I can answer. There are questions that other people will have to answer for themselves. But what I would tell you is that I am from the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District in Rivers State, and I'm from Ogoni. The Rivers Southeast Senatorial District is the only section of Rivers State that has never had the opportunity to produce a leadership for the state. And in that Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, the Ogoni people, who are the majority in that senatorial district, have never participated in the leadership of Rivers State. No Ogoni son or daughter has ever been a governor, a deputy governor, a speaker, or a chief judge in the entire history of Rivers State. And so I feel that having come this far, I owe the people of Rivers State an opportunity to present our people as Rivers people with an opportunity for the state to come together.
I thought Tonya Cole, the candidate of your party, I mean, you've left APC now, he's from the Rivers, I mean, he's from that region too.
No, Tonya Cole is from Rivers West Senatorial District.
But they will also complain that they've not had a shot in a while.
Well, he's from Rivers
Ikwere
West.
people has had more opportunity.
Let me come show. He's from Rivers West Senatorial District. That's where Dr. Peter Odili comes from. Amechi is from Rivers East Senatorial District. In 2019, the party, when we were all together, in 2015, took a decision, that's a natural decision in the context of it, that the governorship is zoned to Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. That's why myself and Dr. Dakuku Peterside were the ones who ran, who were brought out to contest at that time by the same leader, Rotimi Amechi. Now, in 2019, he goes back to now announce that it is no longer by senatorial district, it is now upland and riverine. And therefore, I am now zoned out or disqualified. And then Toye Cole, who is from Rivers West Senatorial District, is now zoned in and can come back to contest. These kind of decisions taken against the clear interest and logic of, without consultation with a majority of the members of the party, is bound to elicit a reaction.
So that period, that era of
I am not going to be part of
that period of your, of your membership of APC is over. So the question is, where next for you?
Well, Sean, I thank you for asking that question. We are working with a political party. We will disclose it.
Is it the SDP?
Why are you asking questions?
No, because that's what the word on the street, that you've gone to the SDP. Are you on the ballot?
We will get there. We will get there. But I want to assure...
Are you on the ballot, Senator?
I want to assure you, Sean, that I will be on the ballot.
Of the SDP in Rivers State?
The ballot is the INEC ballot now for Rivers State now. So when the ballot is declared, the names of those who are contesting and their political will be made public, and I will be on that list.
Now, the question now is, you are saying that you're supporting Bola Tinubu for president, and you have not changed that.
No, I haven't changed that.
So when you're still on the ballot of another party, would you be supporting Bola Tinubu?
When we get there, what everybody in this country knows, which I have said publicly, is that the issue of who becomes the next president of this country must be bigger than any political party.
So the question I'm asking is a moral issue that you have left the APC. And so naturally, when we think politically speaking, your allegiance will be to your new party. But you're saying that it will still be with Bola Tinubu or the APC. So you'll be working against the presidential candidate of the new party. Is that loyalty?
Sure. When we get to that bridge, we will cross it. I have not announced the name of any party. So which presidential candidate are you talking about?
No, I'm asking because you said you've left the APC, but you will still be supporting Bola Tinubu.
I will support Bola Tinubu. I think that much is obvious to everybody in this country, because the reasons why I decided to support Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu is beyond politics. It's beyond politics.
What is it about?
It is about the future of our country, and my belief that at this time, Nigerians need to come together to look for somebody that has a proven track record of getting things done. And there are things in this country that can no longer wait. So as far as I'm concerned, unless I am convinced otherwise, I have decided that I will vote and support Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. That's a personal decision.
On a final note, Senator, Governor Nyesom Wike would have spent 8 years by the election of next year. And Tonya Cole is the candidate of the APC. These are the parties one we imagine has maybe some of the biggest structures. And when you move now, because of your popularity, you will also command some eyeballs and some respect from some voters in your state. Do you imagine that the structure of the party where you belong can, for the first time, be able to muscle that strength to be able to win a governorship election in Rivers State against an incumbent party and an APC where you have a Rotimi Amechi and a Tonya Cole?
To be very honest with you, Sean, I don't think the APC will be much of a factor in the 2022 elections in Rivers State. As far as the governorship is concerned, I don't think so. But what I do know is that ultimately a political party is made up of people. And it is the people that give it strength. Where the people are not with the party becomes, at the very best, a flag and a building. So as far as Rivers State is concerned, we are talking with Rivers people. We are engaging with them. We launched the project SMA 2023, and it is receiving very, very wide attention.
So the APC is not in the scheme of things. Is Magnus Abe against the PDP? Is that what it is? I
think that a lot of these questions that you're asking will be answered by the electorate, including the one that Chris Finebone was talking about. Let's just be a bit patient. In a few months' time, Rivers people will have the opportunity to answer your questions, and we'll be alive to see it.
Senator Magnus Abe, a former senator, a former chieftain of the APC, and a governorship candidate of a party that we do not know just yet. Thank you so much for your coming tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
and I wish you luck in your new party and your new endeavor.
Thank you.
And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.